Ralf Rangnick is set to take over as the interim Manchester United manager. A lot of questions are being posed about exactly how he will improve and evolve this Manchester United team. We're going to take a little look and delve into some of his past experiences and systems that he's used at previous clubs that have yielded great success, but really focus on the areas of which he could advance Manchester United as opposed to completely overhaul what it is they do. Make sure you smash that like button. Share this stream across your social media platforms. Leave your comments below as well. Let's jump straight into this. Rangnick is a big fan of the early press. The term sooner rather than later springs to mind. There's a general rule set for his teams to win back the ball within 8 seconds. It's almost like a game within a game to get that turnover quickly, win that possession back and spring on the counter. We're going to take a look here at some footage between RB Leipzig versus Bayern Munich when Ralf was in charge. And I want you to focus on one of the key areas of their press. What they tend to try to do is always have a numerical advantage over their opponents when pressing of at least one player. So you can see two of the Leipzig players working together here to cut off the angles and press the ball. You've got a runner on the inside and you've got the fullback who's looking to either press the ball or cut off the pass. Kind of killing two birds with one stone in many ways. This is seen by many as a very high risk maneuver. If the Leipzig player doesn't make his press count, there is a huge area left in behind for Bayern Munich in this example to create. There's this entire space here that will then be left exposed if this situation doesn't yield fruitful for Leipzig. The play continues. Leipzig win the ball back and spring into the counter. They break away here. They do win a free kick, but it shows how important the press is. Here is another key example of the press under Ralf. The ball gets worked into the corner and you see two players press towards the ball. You can see him freeze framed in this position here. They will then work hard as a unit to put pressure on the ball, win back possession and then spring. Here a long ball is played. They lose possession, but straight away winning that ball back and they spring into the counter again with opportunities looking to be scored. Now they won't be successful with every press and every counter attack, but this is very much part of the system that Ralf Rangnick has used before, which I think could be successful at Manchester United. There's another example here. Again, I want to focus on. I want to pause it there. You can see. Look how many Leipzig players are hunting that ball down in numbers. 1, 2, 3 players trying to force a mistake from their opponent so they can spring onto the counter attack. This is something we simply haven't seen from Manchester United enough under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's often one person pressing, everybody else sitting back. There is never a cohesive approach ever from them as a team. The play continues. They don't quite win the ball back. You can see them continue to press. The ball comes back into the middle here. And again, they're almost winning it. And then bang, success. There you have it. Well within 8 seconds, they win that ball back. They didn't give up after 1 failure, 2 failures, 3 failures. They carried on hunting that ball down in numbers. They win possession back and they're now into a transition of attack. Sometimes it's about knowing when to press hard, but when also to be a little more subtle and to set traps. We play this forward here. There isn't a huge amount of pressing being done, but they're working themselves into a situation to isolate one of their opponents. And there you see it. 3 versus 1 with very little options, very little room to maneuver the ball into a safe passage. They then will spring into the press hard and aggressively to try and win the ball back. What's important to watch when you're studying Ralf Rangnick's football is the trigger points for his team to press to win the ball back. These are often passes into wide positions, into fullbacks, or isolated midfield players. So you will often see a patient approach as mentioned, but as soon as a particular trigger is hit, the players will set into motion and apply that aggressive German press. We've taken a look at how I think we will press better, waiting for those trigger moments to put pressure upon the ball carriers of the opponents. But where else in this Man United team could we see instant improvements in the way in which United attack? This is going to be key. And I think movement is a very big part of that. See, the ball's moved forward here, and I want to freeze frame it here. Look for the overlap and underlapping runs in this play. The ball gets moved forward, and I'm going to freeze frame it here. Overlap and an underlap about to take place, giving multiple options to Leipzig as they attack. The ball goes at this side on the outside to Werner. The ball is crossed and it ends up here. 5 Leipzig players in the box. The speed of that transition, the carrier moving the ball forward, an underlap and overlapping run that in fact inverted if you want to get really technical with one another. But the movement there is absolutely key. So if you apply the press in the way in which we've seen it done, and you couple that with additional progressive running and excellent movement, you will tear teams apart easier without even working overtly on complex passing drills. I want to start here. You can see another trap being set here by Leipzig in this game. 3-pronged attack, waiting to pounce. Here's the trigger. He's isolated. He's too far adrift, in their opinion, from his fellow teammates. They win the ball back and straight away Leipzig are on the counter. Werner here pulling out to this left-hand side. And look at the runners in the box. It goes into Poulsen, who puts it in the back of the net. But again, it was a 5-man. Let's rewind this a second. It was a 5-man overload in that box. 5 players in the box as that ball is scored. They use the traps. They wait for the trigger to press. They win the ball back. Werner here used massively. I can see the likes of Sancho and Marcus Rashford being so influential in that type of role under Ralf Rangnick. More movement from the middle is going to be important as well. You can see Leipzig building the ball up here nicely. Patient play, and then bang! You see this run being made here. So it's a season opening, season opportunity. Is going to exploit it and run into this space. Manchester United have been far too static under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to really make movement like this pay dividends. Here we could see some real fruitful moments from Manchester United in the way in which they could play football under Ralf. With the likes of Bruno, Paul Pogba, Donny van de Beek being famed for their brilliance in and around the box, this could be key. The play goes on in this situation. He makes it onto the run, shoots. Bit dodgy goalkeeping, but he scores the goal anyway. And it demonstrates the brilliance and the speed of play you get from a Ralf Rangnick side. Now, when you look at other areas of Man United that need to improve, that may be something beyond the next 6 months. And when the new permanent manager comes in, things are explored. But better pressing, winning the ball back quickly, faster transitions in attack, and more movement is going to be key. These are some quick, easy wins with a squad like Manchester United that could yield real dividends. If you look at the track record of Ralf Rangnick and his ability to use young players, the likes of Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, amongst many others, will benefit massively under his management. I get the feeling that Ralf is probably licking his lips and rubbing his hands together when it comes to using players such as Bruno Fernandes and Donny van de Beek, of course hoping to get Paul Pogba back fit as well. A lot of people are putting question marks over how will he use Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, the one thing about Ralf Rangnick which is different, say, from a Thomas Tuchel or a Jurgen Klopp, that typically have used the same sort of style and formation at every club they've been at. When you look through the history of Ralf, everywhere he goes, he tends to adapt his formations and styles slightly depending upon the personnel that he has within that squad. There is no doubt that he is going to operate in that exact same manner at Manchester United and look to yield every ounce of juice he can out of these players for the remaining 6 months of the campaign before handing over to the permanent manager. I do want your thoughts and feelings. I want to know how you think the team can or will improve under him in the next 6 months. Leave me your comments below. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. And how far do you think he can take Man United in this one season? Silverware, back into the top 4. I want your thoughts and feelings. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all soon.